Across the country, states are struggling to pay pensions to retiring workers, so some states are getting creative to make money. In Michigan, they're harnessing star power to make money off music. Can Ariana Grande and a catalog of famous artists bail Michigan out of its financial troubles, and should other states follow suit? Joce Sterman reports.
This is the story of how pop star Ariana Grande and a list of blockbuster musicians are helping Michigan pay retirement to state workers. When it's time for state employees to retire, they look to pensions promised by the state. Unlike 401ks, which employees contribute their earnings toward, pensions are funded entirely by the state. The problem is, with many states, they don't have the money.
Well, we've accidentally made our public employees the state's largest creditors. We owe them over $40 billion.
James Homan is the director of fiscal policy at the Mackinac Center for Public Policy in Midland, Michigan.
The biggest moral concern that lawmakers ought to have is to ensure that we pay for the promises we've made to public employees. And they should be honest about their mistakes they've made in the past about not setting aside enough.
Many cities and states don't have the money they're supposed to have in the bank to pay pensions to current and future retirees. One recent study estimated that public pensions across America are underfunded by $4.4 trillion. That's the size of Germany's entire economy.
How did this happen? How do we get here?
Governments have a lot of reason to spend money right now on things other than pension systems. There's always a better use for a dollar now than putting it into a fund to pay for employee retirements.
Some states are worse off than others. Hypothetically, every resident of New Jersey would have to come up with $16,000 to make up the money to fully fund pensions in their state. In Kentucky, it's $9,600. Michigan's burden is less, but every taxpayer would still have to come up with $3,200. To make up its shortfall, Michigan made an unusual investment. It put more than $1 billion of its pension fund into Concord Music, which owns the copyrights to hundreds of thousands of songs from artists like Dolly Parton, Paul McCartney, and Ray Charles. And that's where pop star Ariana Grande comes in. Her hit song, 7 Rings, used a piece of music owned by Concord. Every time that song is played, Michigan gets paid. By some estimates, it's adding hundreds of millions of dollars to the state's pension fund. Maybe a sound investment, but Homan says Ariana Grande can't save the state herself.
I think that's good, but she's not bailing out the state of Michigan out of its pension problems unless she wants to donate $40 billion to us. We've been exploring all sorts of different exotic investment opportunities to try and catch up on our underfunding, and that's risky for employees themselves.
Michigan isn't alone in trying to make up pension shortfalls through unconventional means. Alabama went the investment route, buying a chain of newspapers and investing in golf courses, airliners, and an office building in New York City. Illinois considered taxing marijuana to contribute to pension funds, and New Jersey used lottery revenue for its pensions.
Do you see any states that are doing it right?
No, it's a hard work. There's no easy way around it. We're going to be working on that for a generation, but we just haven't been setting aside enough money to pay for what we've promised.
Interesting. So where's the oversight on possibly speculative investments?
So the laws here are pretty loose, it turns out. Homan told us that state investment bureaus essentially get to decide what they want to invest all of our money in, so we just have to trust their judgment.
Well, maybe the music thing will work out for more.
Hopefully.
Thanks a lot, Joce.